Hello, hello. Mhm. Hi. Let's see if you can see it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second session of the DeFi of the DeFi Masterclass. Hi, Gareth. Yeah, man. Early bird. So we are just gonna get started because people are gonna stream in um once they receive the notification. I think some people have not understood like they've understood how to withdraw from Metamask and send with Metamask because we went through that, but they haven't. What? Esmond, can you hear? Is there a problem? Well, Gareth, can you hear me? Okay, good. So anyway, let's get started. I think people will just join as and when they have the time. Um, some people have not figured out how to withdraw. Usually, when you want to withdraw tokens into your MetaMask, what you do is you go to somewhere, go to your centralized exchange, and then you click wallet, and then you go to withdraw, and you key in your withdrawal address, which is um, you key in your withdrawal address, you key in whatever you want to withdraw, and then click withdraw BTC, right, or withdraw Ethereum to your Ethereum account. Do not send BTC to your MetaMask. Right, it does not work. MetaMask only works for Ethereum and ERC20 coins. So um, today's session we're gonna go through the DeFi lending protocols, right? So I think in DeFi, one of the most important aspects are the DeFi lending protocols. Within the DeFi lending protocols, you can do a lot of things, right? So let's get started. The to look at the prevailing. Okay, why is my net worth showing here? Um, to look at the prevailing DeFi lending protocols, you can come to Debank, which we have gone through the last lesson. Go to Debank and then go to DeFi list or go to ranking. All right. Either ones are fine. Then when you scroll down, you can see all the categories, all the projects within the lending categories. And the lending projects, I will go through most of the big lending projects today, right? And then we will look through and see what all the differences are. And we will go through the lending protocols from the top down, right? So Maker is number one, right? And Maker has a locked value of $5 billion, right? And I'm gonna show you why Maker is $5 billion. So the easiest way to get to Maker is to Google MakerDAO, right? Go to MakerDAO.com. And Maker is the creator of DAI, and DAI is a stable coin. So DAI is a stable coin that is um, collateral-based stable coin, meaning to say that you have to put something into the system before they will give you DAI. And if you do that, it means that the stable coin is a collateral-based stable coin. So you can do a lot of things with DAI, and DAI is really popular. If you look at Coingecko, DAI is top 30 coins, and the market cap for DAI is $1.6 billion. All right, so it's quite huge. Anyway, when you want to go create DAI, you need to put in collateral into the system to collect DAI, right? And how you put in collateral into the system is with the usage of their Oasis app, right? So once you get into Oasis app, they ask you if you want to connect with email. You don't have to because we have Metamask, and that's why we set up Metamask, right? And hold on, let me get there. So click connect Metamask, all right, and then get in to Metamask with your password. Forgot my password. So anyway, yeah, this is the burner account that I created with you guys in the previous lesson. All right. And then once you get in, you need to sign a message. You click sign. All right. MetaMask pops out. You click sign. Okay, there's a terms of service. Okay. And then once you're within, you can either choose to buy DAI, go to dashboard. That is where we want to go. It looks a little bit different from here. I want to open a vault. Oops, I have to restart. So you want to go into DAI. Once you get into Oasis app, you want to open a vault, right? And when you open a vault, right, open a vault. And when you want to open a vault, they ask if you want to collect. They only collect one thing. I mean, DAI stats. All right. So once you're in, I'm not going to go in because then you get to see all my stuff in there. But once you get into MakerDAO, you get to see like they collect different kinds of collateral. They collect Ethereum as collateral, right? They collect BAT as collateral. They collect USDC as collateral, WBTC, TUSD, KNC as collateral, right? So on and so forth. And then all of them would issue you DAI. All right. We need a linear switch mechanical keyboard. Yes, Gareth. So then when you produce DAI, right, you can use the DAI to go do some other stuff. I think Maker is quite hard to show, and Maker, I don't really use Maker because Maker is quite expensive. Right, Maker is quite expensive, and Maker only accepts a few different forms of collateral. They only accept Ethereum, BAT, USDC, WBTC, so on and so forth. So Maker is kind of like, and they only produce DAI. That's the second issue about Maker, is that sometimes I want to borrow something else, but I don't want to borrow just DAI, or I don't want to just produce DAI. All right, so we've gone through Maker, and then the second generation is Compound, where you go to Compound Finance. Same idea, except Compound Finance, same idea. The ones on the left are the collaterals, right? The ones on the left are the collaterals, and then the ones on the right are the stuff that you can borrow. Okay, so if you connect your wallet, again, it's the same thing. It's always the same thing. You go to the top right corner, click Connect Wallet, Metamask. If you connect your wallet, you can start to supply collateral into the system, right? And you can choose to put like DAI, you can choose to put Ether, any of these. And these APY is the current interest that you should be expecting for the entire year, right? So for example, if I put $100 worth of DAI, at the end of 1 year, I should receive about $107. So the interest rates are pretty good, right? Tether, quite insane with 13.9%. Right, so a lot of people, they just do that. If you've got low risk profile, go collect some DAI, which is a stable coin, USDC or Tether, and then put them in here. And once you put them in there, just earn interest. How are the interests supplied though? How is the interest supplied? What's FA and FB? So Gareth asked what's FA and FB. The thing about DAI though is that Maker, which is the foundation, they are very, very conservative. So when they're really conservative, they're like, oh, we don't want to collect so much Ethereum as one collateral, right? We don't want to collect only like there are risks to the system if all the collateral that we receive is one form of coin. So for example, if you have a bank in Singapore, right, like DBS Bank, one of the biggest banks in Singapore, if they only collect collateral of houses in Geylang, which is a neighborhood in Singapore, then there is risk, right? Because the collateral are all of the same type. So what Maker decided was that, all right, we're gonna collect this amount of Ethereum, right? We're gonna collect like this amount of Ethereum and this amount of Ethereum, but we're gonna create like 2 tiers, right? And for each tier, there are different kind of fees involved. So we're gonna charge them 3.5% for the first 1 billion, and then subsequently we're gonna charge them a little bit more so that we kind of stop people from giving us more Ethereum, right? And then this goes on. You see USDC A and USDC B also matters. So it's their kind of like risk management profiling. Anyway, back to Compound. I think Compound is a little bit more useful, like I said, because you can supply a lot of different kind of stuff and you can take out a lot of different kind of stuff, right? So there is this flexibility, and the balance is that your system is only as safe as the tokens that you supplied it with, right? So for example, if I'm gonna put a token here called like Ronald token, right, which I can mint infinitely, and if I'm gonna put Ronald token as an accepted token, then I basically can put as much Ronald token into this supply and then take out everything, right, and then borrow against it for everything. So the collaterals have to have some worth, right? And so these are really like what they call in Twitter, they call it like blue chip coins. So like these coins, they've been around for ages. There's clear utility for them, and if you put them in, it's really hard to mess around with them. All right. So I'm gonna show you how it works. Why not? I'm gonna show you how it works. Compound Finance. Open it. Okay. So this is a burner account that I created. There's no money in it, right? There is almost no money in it. And what you do is first you gotta click to make it. First you gotta sign in. You always have to sign in, right, on the top right with your MetaMask. And then you can click collateral, right? Like turn it on. Use Uni as collateral. You have to enable it as collateral. And because it's an action, you have to pay some Ethereum for it, right? Because every single action you have to pay in the Ethereum blockchain. So I supplied 1 cent of USDC, right? After I turned it on as collateral, I supplied 1 cent of USDC, right? And this is how it looks. You can key in some number. If you have 1,000 USDC, you can key in 1,000 USDC. They tell you, all right, this is how much you're gonna make as interest, right? This is how much you're going to make as your farm. So Compound has this thing where they are incentivizing people to put their money with them, to put their tokens with them. And how they incentivize it is by saying like, hey guys, if you put your money with us, we are going to give you this Compound token. which you can sell for Ethereum or you can sell for anything. You can use it to vote for our governance structures. You can use it, you can put it in here. Look, it's also accepted as collateral. You can put it in here and earn 2.11%. So for the people who are thinking really fast, you start to realize that you can compound a lot of stuff, right? You can put one form of tokens in there and then collect another and then do it again and do it again and do it again. And that's where the SIG returns come in. All right. So this is how it looks if you want to try and play around with it. And then on top, once you put in substantial amount of money, it will tell you like how much your supply balance is. And right now my supply balance is 1 cent because I put in 1 cent, right? And this is how much I'm earning from all the tokens that I've put in, 10% a year, which is really not so bad. But take note though that it adds comp token as well, which is like the incentive program that they have. And then you can, because it acts like a bank, like a lending protocol, it acts like a bank. So you can put all these tokens here and then you can borrow something out. So I can try to borrow Ethereum, for example. If I click Ethereum, right, I can click borrow and then I can put like how much money I want, how many Ethereums I want to borrow. All right. If you've joined into the incentive program, this is how you collect it. You go up here, click this one. They're like, oh yeah, this is the amount of tokens you received for the incentive program, blah, blah, blah. You can claim it. If you want to claim it, again, it's an action and you got to pay the crazy gas fees. That's why I didn't claim my 15 cents because it's like $34 to claim 15 cents. So that's compound finance, right? And compound finance, if we look at our Coingecko, right, it's the 33rd, their token is the 33rd biggest one. So they're like top 30, top 40, right? Even higher than Maker, just for the token. Another thing is that when you're scrolling down Coingecko, right, you can see that sometimes there are some that looks really weird, like CF. CF, right, is compound Ethereum. So compound Ethereum is the Ethereum that is used as collateral in the compound finance network. And it's quite substantial. $1.7 billion worth of Ethereum has been put into compound finance, right? Has been put into compound finance. And what they get is this receipt that says like, oh, thank you for putting your Ethereum with us. This is your receipt. And the amount of receipts there are worth 1.7 billion compound ethers. All right. So it's quite substantial, right? 1.7 billion is about 1% of the supply of Ethereum. So 1% of supply of Ethereum is locked in compound, right? And then if you go down further, you have CDAI, right? So CDAI is the same idea, except that the collateral is DAI. They put in DAI and then they take out whatever they want to take out, or they're just earning the interest, right? And then CUSDC is here. Oops. CUSDC is here, number 41. Another 1 billion. Right, so compound finance is, usually I say like just if you want to know which protocols to use, just go with where all the money is. Because when before people put in like real money, like $1 billion, they always look through, they audit through the contracts, they audit through the smart contracts, so on and so forth. And compound is like top 5 with $3.5 billion. So you can be sure that it's relatively safe compared to the guys at the bottom, right? So another thing about compound though is that you may be wondering where do these returns come from, right? Who's giving me 13.98% return on my Tether, right? And the answer is it's the people who are borrowing it. So the people who are borrowing it, they're paying at 16.89%, right? And then you get paid 13.98%. So there's the spread. Why are they borrowing it though? I will go through the reasons to borrow, after we finish Aave and Cream, right? Because there are actually a lot of reasons to borrow. So compound finance, any questions? Let me check. Where's all the questions? If you've got any questions, please ask. Cool, cool. So after compound, we go to Aave. Where's Aave? Aave. This is Aave. Aave is the lending protocol that I use. I prefer Aave much more because yeah. So I prefer Aave much more because there's more information. You know, they have a lot of cool stuff that you can do with Aave. So if you look here, Aave, almost all the information shown to you in one go, right? The first column are all the tokens that they accept and they lend, right? The first column are all the tokens that they interact with, right? They even tell you how many tokens they have, right? The market size of all these tokens, how much is borrowed out of these tokens, right? And then how much you would stand to gain if you put in the tokens and how much you would stand to take out. So previously we saw that USDT on compound is 13.98%. Well, here it's like USDT, it's like 25%, almost double, right? That's one reason why I like Aave, because the utilization of the funds of the collateral is so good and so efficient that you tend to earn more kind of interest out of it, right? So like even DAI, for example, when you deposit, you earn 15.94. In compound, when you deposit, you earn like 7.74, which is like half, right? But all this returns have to come from somewhere, right? And it comes from people that who are borrowing it, right? Look at the differential, right? People who are borrowing USDT, they borrow it at 53%, which is insane, right? And the reason why this number is so high is because that the total borrowed is almost the size of the market, of the entire market, meaning the borrowing efficiency rate is really, really high, right? 48.8 million out of 49 million has been borrowed, right? Um, yeah. So like these numbers you will never see in the boomer finance, right? If you go to boomer finance, you go to like your nearest neighborhood bank, they will never give you 25%. Right. So where does this 25% risk come from, right? We learn in finance school, like the risk and return thing. 25% comes from, well, first of all, you have the coin risk, right? I mean, USDT, what if one day it turns out that it's illegal, right? And then, or any other problem for that matter. Or, you also have to trust Aave, right? You have to trust Aave as, you have to trust their smart contracts, you have to trust them to be good, right? To be a good bank. And then just these two factors alone can already explain why the deposit APY can be so high, right? Um, Another special thing about Aave is that when you borrow from Compound, you borrow and then you just rely on whatever rate they give you, and the rate changes like every single minute. If now I go out and take a huge loan, right, the rate changes for everyone else. Excuse me. Yeah, the rate changes for everyone else, right? So if I go and take a huge loan for DAI right now, right, and use up all the capitalization, then the rate changes for every single person who has borrowed DAI. Right? Aave, they let you take out a fixed stable rate. If you can see the last column, it offers stable rate. But stable rate is kind of a scam because it's so bloody high that yeah, like it doesn't make sense to, yeah, whatever. So if you think that the rates are going to go higher, then take stable. If you think that the rates are going to go lower, take variable. Now I'm going to show you how a working Aave account looks like. Where is my Aave? Wait, I have to be careful I don't dox myself. Aave. Right. I found it. So this is my Aave account. I put in some coins in there, right? You can see from the home page, I'm using Aave version 1, right? So if you look below, I'm using Aave version 1 because the rates are better. And also, like, it works perfectly fine, so I don't have the reason to move to Aave version 2. It's up to you. You can choose Aave 1 or Aave 2. It's up to you, right? That's why here in the syllabus, I wrote, Aave 1 and Aave 2. You can use either. The thing about these contracts is that if they put the smart contracts up, right, into the Ethereum network, it can never be taken down again. So it's always going to be there. Right, so Aave version 1 is always going to be there. And like the market size of Aave version 1 is still $2.5 billion, even though there's Aave version 2. So why should I move everything? Like the gas fees are so high anyway. I'm just going to stick to Aave version 1. I don't mind it. Yeah. It was a long day today. So you can go to dashboard. Once you go in, connect your MetaMask as usual. You can go to home, choose to put in a token. You can choose to put in any token. And for me, I chose to put in Aave, Link, and Uni. The thing is that there is a methodology to the kind of tokens you want to put as collateral. The kind of tokens you want to put as collateral are the tokens that you want to hold and never sell, right? Because it's quite troublesome. Because it's can't see my face. Okay, anyway, because it's quite troublesome, right? It's quite troublesome to take it out and stuff like this. So the best tokens to put in are the tokens that you want to hold forever. And to me, I'm fine with holding Aave. I'm fine with holding Chainlink and Uni, for example, right? This is a test account. And if I'm fine with holding these, then I'm fine with using them as collateral. It actually mirrors real world. If you look at real world, right, you look at the kind of stuff that people use as collateral in banks, right? They usually put collateral as their house. And they're fine with holding their house. They're fine with owning the house because they stay in that house, right? So DeFi actually follows real world a lot. It's basically finance on steroids, right? And finance on steroids also mean that you stick to the same principles of which our modern finance is built on. So you have Aave, Chainlink, Uni, we're all fine with it, and you can see that this is really, really popular because when I put in Aave, Chainlink, and Uni, my APY I'm earning is 0. I'm not earning anything out of it. I'm not earning any interest out of it because the simple fact is that everyone is putting the same thing in there. Everyone is ready to hold it, ready to hold Aave, ready to hold Chainlink, ready to hold Uni, such that they don't mind putting it in even though it is 0% interest, right? And when something like this comes out to me, when I see something like this, I'm like, wow, the entire world thinks that Aave, Chainlink, and Uni are so good and so well used as collateral that they're willing to put it in for 0%. Right? So these are like the kind of small things that go through my head when I'm playing with a protocol. Right? I'm seeing what other people are doing. And usually when you have insights like this, like, all right, look, Aave, Chainlink, and Uni, people are just buying it. Okay. And then so now you have this value, right? $16,000, right? This value, and then uh, you can borrow, I think, a fixed amount which is less than your collateral. So you can go to borrowings, right? Here we are. health factor, I've also took out a loan just to show you guys. Right, so I took out like a $4 loan SUSD, and I took out a 1,500 USDC loan. Right. So what happens is that now I borrowed 1,500. Right. My health factor is basically my collateral over my borrowings. Right. So my collateral is about $16,000, and I borrowed 1,522. So my health factor is like 7. Right. And then my borrow composition, they just tell you what you've borrowed, right? USDC, and then this is the stuff that I can borrow left. On the flip side, this is the stuff that I own in the system, right? So my current LTV is 9%, right? And in Aave, they allow you to borrow all the way to your liquidation threshold of 67%. So you have to be smart about it. Don't borrow to the maximum because you may be liquidated. Liquidated means that they just take your collateral and then they unwind the debt position. So I'm really, really prudent here. I just like put at 10% because this is just a test account. All right. So once you reach 67%, they're going to slowly start to liquidate all your collateral and unwinding your position. So you got to be careful about that. All right. So now the next question is, what are we going to put in and what are we going to borrow? You already know that the stuff to put in are the tokens that you don't mind holding forever, right? But what are you going to borrow is really like half arts and half science. When you want to borrow, the first thing is interest rates, man. Don't go borrowing something that's 50% interest rate because that's like worse than loan sharks. Right? You want to borrow something that has low interest rates. The second thing is don't borrow something that has no point. Right? Like, what is the point of you borrowing? There are a few reasons where you can borrow. Right? So right here you can see the 3 reasons to borrow: short sell, farm, and leverage. Right? So for example, right now, if I borrow Ethereum, right, say at 75% of what I can borrow, if I borrow Ethereum, right, and then immediately take this Ethereum and sell the Ethereum, what I have is now a short position on Ethereum, right? So I can borrow 3.7 Ethereum here, and if I take 3.7 Ethereum and I sell it straight away, right, I get USDC probably, right? And then I'm hoping that the price of Ethereum drops so that I can buy it back again and have some leftover USDC, right? And so that is short selling. You're basically short selling. You're borrowing against your collateral for a position, selling this immediately, and then wait for the price to drop, and then buy it back at a lower price, and then return your lending. So people do that sometimes, right? And why do they do it here is because, well, there's no KYC, there's no one that can stop you. You can do it as much as you want. You can do it as big as you want, right? So a lot of people do something like this where they just short sell. The second thing you can do is you can use it for farming, right? Farming will go through in the future, but if, for example, you only have, for example, you want to go to this farm, right? Farming is basically, short story is farming is basically putting 2 coins together and then farming something else and getting returns in something else. So right now, for example, you can get the return in sushi if you put in sushi and Ethereum. But assuming that I only have sushi, then I need to find Ethereum from somewhere. So maybe I can just borrow some Ethereum, right? Like this, you're not short selling because you borrow the Ethereum and then you have the sushi, you put them together, you put them in the farm, and then they start earning more sushi, right? And the returns are really crazy. It's like 128% per year, right? So for example, if I only have sushi, I can go and borrow Ethereum, put them together, and then start farming sushi at a rate of 128%. So some people do this as well, right? So some of the numbers here that you want to take note of are like the utilization rate means like how many percent of the Ethereum in this system has been borrowed off. So assuming that there is 100 Ethereum in this system, 16 Ethereum has been borrowed off. Right, this is how much Ethereum there are in there, 281,000. And then the rates that are connected with it. Yeah. So every single Ethereum has different, like every single rate has different assets. Sorry, every single asset has different rates. So the asset for Ethereum, the loan to value rate is 53%. Right, but say if you want to borrow SUSD, okay, it's also 53%. Hold on. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. And so Aave is like, I find Aave to be the balance, right? They have quite a few options, they have quite a few features, blah, blah, blah. And then all the way on the other side, on the YOLO side of things, let's see the YOLO side of things, we have Cream Finance. So Cream Finance is really like quite YOLO. They YOLO because, what's this? All right, let's connect to the wallet first. Connect wallet, Metamask. We've done this a million times. Hey, are you not working? Connect wallet. I have. I've done it. What's up with you? Come on. Cream Finance. It's a little bit buggy today. Oh, here we go. So why I say Cream Finance is YOLO is because they accept everything as collateral, man. And remember earlier I said that the safety of the safety of the system is in part due to the kind of collateral they receive. So Cream Finance collects a lot of different kind of collateral. Right, look, these are all the tokens that they collect as collateral. These ones, the last ones like WBTC-ETH, the ones with ETH and the ones with hyphens, they are liquidity provision tokens, LP tokens. We will go through LP tokens in the next class. So for now, you just need to know that they are something of value. Right, but in the next class, we're going to go through this. And then you can start seeing all the combos that you can put together. Combo finance. So you can put in all these stuff, which is really insane to me, like that all these tokens can be put in as collateral. And it works exactly the same as Aave and as compound finance, right? You can put in a certain amount and then you can take out less of another token, right? And then the ideas are the same, right? Short sell farm and leverage. So I didn't go through leverage. Let me go through leverage now. Leverage is if I put in Ethereum, right? Say I put in Ethereum. I put in 10 Ethereum deposit, right? And then I withdraw, say 10 Ethereum is what? 14,000. So then I withdraw 3,000 USDC. I trade 3,000 USDC to Ethereum, right? Let's assume that 1 Ethereum equals 1,000 USDC, right? So I get 3 Ethereum. So total exposure now is 13 Ethereum leverage, right? So just like a bank, you can also leverage by putting in collateral, taking out stablecoin, and then buying more of the collateral with the stablecoin. And this leverage reason, right? This leverage reason is exactly why if you look at every single lending protocol, stablecoins interest rates are so high because everyone is doing it. Well, not everyone. A lot of people are doing it. So look at this. DAI, USDC, TUSD, USDT, average almost 10% and up, right? And then when you look at the collateral stuff, the common collateral like Aave, Uni, YFI, and all this stuff, it's also low because these are usually the collaterals because people are happy to keep them. Right? These are usually the collaterals, and these are the borrowings. And then they borrow this, and then they go buy more of it, and then they put it back in again. So there's this like virtuous loop of leverage and of borrowings. All right. So we're done with all this. We're also done with this. All right. So Debank, DeFi rankings. So then now when you look at the DeFi ranking, you kind of understand why the lending categories are like this. Maker is number one, probably because they are first to market, and second is because they're really, really safe. Right? They don't accept everything as collateral. And then if you go all the way down to the other side of things, where's my cream? Right, you go to cream number 14, still quite a lot, right? Almost $1 billion, right? But why? It's because cream is younger, right? And they accept a lot of different collateral. So people are a little bit worried of putting in a lot of collateral tokens. Yeah. So now you know how to borrow, right? And now you know how to earn. So some of you have asked me today, how do I make interest or how do I earn a yield out of my tokens? You put it into one of these lending protocols and you earn that yield, right? But don't do it now because there are ways to do it. Uh, there are ways to make it more efficient, right? So this is like level one, like the most basic way, but there are other ways, other things you can do. So for example, you can go to a money. Um, The thing about doing it yourself, when you go here and then you put in your tokens and then you do it yourself, is that every single time you do it, you have to pay the fees. And the fees will drive you nuts, man. Unless you're doing a lot of it, like the fees will start eroding into your yield. So there are some really smart people that came up together and they're like, all right, look, let's gather everybody's tokens and then we do it like once, right? So we save on the fees as a whole, we save on the fees, and also we can do a lot of things like generally you can save on the fees, right? So one of them is called Yearn Finance. I'm gonna put this here, and Yearn Finance is YFI. So some of you may know about this, right? So you connect again, connect in, and then they have this thing called vaults, where you just put it in and forget about it, right? So you just put it in and forget about it. If you have DAI, for example, you want to earn DAI, the return here is 15.07%. So you put it in, oops, here, and then put it in and then just forget about it. Then they will do everything for you. Or, let's look at this. Oh, this is the old one. Yeah, connect your wallet, Metamask. So every single time you got to connect your wallet, right? It's like your one-click sign-in. Or you can do it here, same idea, right? The interest rates are here. So the idea of this one is like you put it in once and then you take it out once, and then you can read on the strategy that they do. They're basically doing the same thing, right? It's just that they compile a lot of stuff together. They compile a lot of people's stuff together, right? The downside about this though is that even though you earn a higher interest and you pay less fees, right, you cannot borrow against it, right? You cannot borrow against it. Generally, you cannot borrow against it. Now you're starting to be able to borrow against it. So all Yearn Finance products start with Y, right? So if you put in DAI, for example, what they give you is Y DAI. So if you put in DAI, you get Y DAI, right? And if you go to Cream, you notice that some of them start with Y, right? Like look at this, YCRV, YUSD, YETH. So if you put your Ethereum into like this one here, right? if you put your Ethereum into Yearn Finance, right, 1,000 Ethereum, you're gonna get out 1,000 YETH. And then you can put the 1,000 YETH into Cream, right? Where's my YETH? And then you can put your 1,000 YETH into Cream. And once you put it in like this, you're getting the best of both worlds. And then you can, first of all, you can aggregate and kind of like let someone manage your Ethereum. And then with the receipt that they give you for the collateral of your Ethereum, you can use it and use it as collateral for another lending protocol that will give you more money that you can use the money for short sell farm or leverage, right? So that's why DeFi is so it's melting everyone's faces, right? Like the prices of the tokens and everything is melting everyone's faces because I think primarily because of the composability. Composability is that you can compose one solution and one product on top of another, right? So say you produce something and it's really useful. Somebody can take whatever output of that usefulness and then go and redo it and make something even more useful come out of it, right? So it's composable in that way. So it's really quite powerful, right? Last, we will go through MetaMask troubleshooting. So say for example, I want to borrow some, I have done a transaction, right? So I want to borrow Ethereum, for example. Put this, I'm gonna borrow 2.5 ETH. Continue, variable, continue, submit, and then this comes out. Whoa, that's really expensive gas fee. $115 gas fee, right? And then say you do it really slowly, like 50. All right, confirm. Guys, I'm paying $115 gas fee. So now, where is it? Right now, I have this transaction that is ongoing, right? And maybe you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to pay this amount of gas fee. That's really high. Like, I don't want to pay $62 just to borrow 2 Ethereum, for example. What you can do is you can either cancel it or you can speed it up, right? So now I want to cancel it. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to borrow this amount, right? So you can cancel it. Yes, let's try. Okay. And the idea is that they are sending a transaction with the same queue number and trying to be faster and trying to cancel away with that queue number. So my queue number here is 379, right? What I can do is, oops, what happened here, right? You can click on it. Oh, it's already been canceled. Wow. Yeah, and then usually they will give you the status over here of like, oh, how is your transaction being done, so on and so forth. Is it processed? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes MetaMask is a little bit slow. Come on. Oh wow. So that's how you cancel a transaction. Say you click something wrongly, blah blah blah. You can actually stop it. All right. So MetaMask troubleshooting YFI. So I'm done with whatever I wanted to say for today. In the next lesson, we're probably going through swapping, or what should we go through? In the next lesson, we are probably going to go through exchange, right? Exchange. Oh, I have so much to say about exchange. So we'll go through all the decentralized exchanges, right? Short form, they're called DEX. We'll go through Uniswap, SushiSwap, Curve. What else is there? 1 inch. Woohoo. 1 inch. Imbalancer maybe. All right. So the next lesson we'll go through all the exchange categories, and I will also show you how these exchange category protocols interact with the lending protocol. And then sooner or later you're gonna realize that damn, we can do a lot of stuff with what's going on in crypto. All right. So if you've got no other questions, I think we can stop here. Yeah. All right. Great. Thank you very much. I think there's some lag time in the video, but yeah, thank you very much for joining us today. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.